Hi friends, this is Dr. Shyam Rengan, and this is a video for the general public to know more about this COVID-19 virus. So, why it was named COVID-19? What is the significance of the name COVID-19? This virus was discovered in the year 2019, in the month of December in Wuhan. That is why the D represents the month December and the 19 represents the year 2019. So, thus it was named as COVID-19. Here I will be talking a little bit about microbiology, pathology, and the significance of why we are locked down for 21 days. As you can see, this is an enveloped virus and a single stranded RNA virus. In virus, there are basically two types, DNA and RNA viruses. This is a single stranded RNA virus and a non-segmented RNA virus. How it is classified? This comes under a family known as Coronaviridae. And in this Coronaviridae, there are two subfamilies, Coronaviridae and Tauroviridae. And in Coronaviridae, there are four genus, alpha, beta, gamma, and delta Coronaviridae. So basically, we have family, subfamily, genus, and species. Coronaviridae usually affects the animals. It's very rare to see in human beings. But we have found that 6 types of species also affect human beings. These 6 species that are from alpha and beta Coronaviridae. Medically important Coronaviridae, which we'll be discussing, is 3 viruses: SARS, MERS, and obviously what we are discussing, COVID-19. SARS stands for Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome. SARS, this also was originated from China, and almost 770 deaths were recorded. Here, almost 7,000 people were infected, and we recorded deaths of 770. MERS stands for Middle East Respiratory Syndrome. It was evident in Middle East countries like Saudi Arabia, and almost 2,500 people were infected, and number of deaths recorded were almost 750 deaths. You can see it has a very high mortality compared to this COVID-19. What is this COVID-19? COVID-19 other name is also SARS-2 virus. Why? The reason is because this virus was formed because of mutation in the SARS virus. The original SARS virus, that is also RNA virus, a single strand RNA virus. There are a few mutations. Mutations are specific change in the sequence of the RNA. So, few changes occurred in the sequence of SARS virus, and thus we got this novel coronavirus COVID-19. So where did the mutation occur? What is the origin of this virus? This mutation occurred in bats and snakes. As you all know, the most accepted theory why this virus originated was because there was mutation in bat and snakes, and Chinese people, when they consumed food containing bat and snakes, the virus was transmitted from animals to human beings. Next, moving on to transmission. It is transmitted through respiratory droplets. That is, when a person coughs, the respiratory droplets transmit the virus particles from affected person to a healthy person. Fomites. Fomites is nothing but transmission of the virus particles through an inanimate object. So if a person coughs and the virus particle gets attached to an inanimate object, and if a healthy person touches the inanimate object, the stationary object, and then touches his face, that is nose or mouth, then the virus gets transmitted. What is the test done? The test done to identify this virus particle is real-time polymerase chain reaction. This is a similar test, same test done for almost all the viral diseases. We identify specific proteins related to COVID-19. The specific proteins which we detect are gene E, gene N, and gene RDRP. Gene E, that is the envelope gene, is used as a screening tool. And for confirmation, we try to find a specific gene known as RNA-dependent RNA polymerase. That is the first protein to form from COVID-19. So that is the gene for confirmation for COVID-19. Next, moving on to pathology of COVID-19. So when the virus enters a human being, it goes to the lower respiratory tract infection. After it gets attached to the lower respiratory tract, it attaches to the specific receptors known as angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptors. What is the significance of these receptors? Why a common person need to know about these receptors? People who are having hypertension, that is increased BP, or in cardiac failure, they take specific drugs which block these receptors. So people are taking drugs like enalapril, captopril, pill-ending drugs, or drugs like sartans, telmisartan, candesartan, drugs ending with sartan. You need to be really careful. Please go and inform your physician that you are taking these drugs, and if there is a need to change these drugs, please move on to a better alternative. So when this virus enters our body, there is a fight between our immune system and the viral particle. So the macrophage and the dendritic cell, they are the immune system which tries to balance the virus particles, and in this process, in this war against the viral particle, interstitial lung disease is found. So bilateral interstitial lung disease found. The most common cause of death in coronavirus COVID-19 is acute respiratory distress syndrome. That is, a bilateral interstitial lung disease is found in less than 7 days and the person dies of it. The incubation period for COVID-19 is 2 to 14 days. So that is the reason why when patients come from other countries or they are suspected of coronavirus, they need to be home quarantined for minimum of 14 days. Incubation period is nothing but the exposure to viral particle and the time between the exposure to virus particle and the first symptom when you get it. So that is the incubation period, and it is 2 to 14 days for COVID-19. Another important term which you need to know is reproductive number. It is the number of secondary cases generated from one infected person. That is, if a person has COVID-19 and what is the number of people he can transmit the virus, usually he can transmit to 2 or 3 people. So that is the reproductive number 2 to 2.5. I'll get back to you what is the importance of reproductive number. Now the concept of 21-day lockdown. So when Narendra Modi told that in Mahabharata it got over in 18 days, but for COVID-19 you need to at least have 21 days of lockdown. So what is the significance of this 21-day lockdown? For this, I'll be explaining you a theory of hammer and dance theory. In COVID-19, there are 2 phases of the virus. So when it enters a country, there is a hammer phase and a dance phase. Hammer phase is the most crucial phase where there is maximum transmission of the virus. So at that period of this hammer phase occurs in between 3 to 7 weeks. So that is the most crucial point where we need to take maximum precaution to prevent the diseases. So that is when the whole country needs to be in lockdown. All transport service, everything has to be stopped. So if we are properly careful during this 3 to 7 weeks, the hammer period, then the number of cases can drastically reduce and we can go to the dance phase. The dance phase, the concept of reproductive number should be below 1. I explained what is reproductive number, and it has to be less than 1 to enter the dance phase. So after this 21-day lockdown, can we celebrate? Can we move on to our normal life? The answer is definitely no. You need to take precautions. You need to wear mask. You need to sanitize your hand. All the safety precautions has to be followed. Some people ask me the importance of herd immunity, like UK started following. I'm totally against this herd immunity. The reason because COVID-19 has a mortality of 2%. That is, if 100 people are infected, 2 people can die. Taking India as example, in India's population is 137 crore people. And to form herd immunity is a concept where most of the people are infected and they are immune to the virus. So if 60% of the population, if they are infected, we are expecting 82 crore people to be infected. Then, if it has 2% mortality, we are expecting a death of 1 crore 64 lakh. That is not a small number, 1 crore 64 lakh deaths. Definitely, friends, we can't allow so many number of deaths. So this is a few graphs which I'll be explaining the importance of hammer phase, how different countries have approached this hammer phase of this COVID-19. So starting with Italy, they didn't know how to approach this disease. They were a little bit lax. So all this quarantine period, they started a little late. And what is the effect of it? The cases have drastically increased. When they started late, the number of cases increased. Take example of South Korea. South Korea, the number of cases, it initially started in a high number, but due to strict measures, the number of cases then decreased. This is the same thing which I also want from India. We need to be self-quarantined, and we can either become like Italy, or it can also either become like South Korea. If you are careful, if you are quarantined, we can reduce the number of cases and we can prevent a lot of deaths. This is another graph emphasizing the importance of social distancing. This is a graph telling the number of ICU beds needed for 100,000 population. So this is a UK based study. Here we have given various levels of social distancing. First, that is the black line represents if you do nothing. What will happen if you do nothing? Then the various levels are if only the cases are isolated. The people who are having the suspected coronavirus, if only they are isolated. Then closing schools, closing universities, or 100% lockdown, everyone is quarantined. So if we do nothing, you can see how the number of cases have increased tremendously. But at the same thing, if 70% of the population, if you are isolated and if you are quarantined, you can see how the number of ICU beds needed per 100,000 population is very less. The graph has tremendously decreased. I mean, almost it has flattened. So this is the whole emphasis of this video is the importance of social distancing. Please friends, be quarantined. I've seen many people having their maids working at their houses. This is a crucial period, friends. Even servant maids, they are human beings. If they are infected with the virus, it will definitely infect you also. So please ask no one to come to your house, be quarantined, be isolated. And this is my final message. Thank you.